That hydration method is a chemical reaction that happens, and it's meant to do it over a set period of time. Sorry.
You're doing a mark.
A little bit of a concrete joke there.
Seeing as it's 40 degrees outside and 50 degrees in this room, we thought we'd have a quick episode about weather, how it can affect your garden in...
I thought you were going to say me mentally.
Yeah. Surprised I haven't got a fan in front of his face. So let's start with heat. Cold. We'll start with heat, seeing as we're sat in extreme heat.
Yeah.
The dedication to this podcast is unbelievable.
Well, it's often a massive thing, and probably people see on either social media or the platforms that landscapers use and things. Is it ever too hot to lay? Often a question that gets asked, and I think the answer is yes. There are several different technical reasons why you shouldn't lay over a certain temperature. That temperature is subjective. I'm from a concrete background, and bizarrely it can be too hot to concrete.
Mm-hmm.
It can also be too cold to concrete for different reasons. The main reason when you're using cement is cement hydrates at a certain speed, and it gains most of its strength when it's mixed with the aggregates, whether it be a mortar bed or a concrete where you've got sand, stone, cement, and then water. That hydration method is a chemical reaction that happens, and it's meant to do it over a set period of time. Sorry.
You're doing a mark.
A little bit of a concrete joke there. But yeah, it's over a period of time. So once those temperatures are either too high or too low, that chemical reaction either happens too fast or doesn't happen quick enough. So the actual mortar bed itself becomes affected and doesn't be as strong as it should be.
So cement can be part of the whole laying process. So it obviously is for the mortar, but also a lot of the jointing compounds have cementitious. That's it.
Indeed.
Within it, so it affects both the groundwork and also the finishing touches.
Yeah.
So really laying and jointing is a problem.
Absolutely.
When it's over a certain degree.
And what I would say is laying paving in these conditions.
I
I always say it. I'm glad we sell paving and don't lay it, because it just ultimately, you're creating hazards for yourself and your workers and things like that over a certain period.
Even touching them like the metal tools.
I suppose I've not even thought about that. Yeah, but obviously the heat affects.
Not always a problem we have to deal with in this country, but for the past 2 weeks, yes.
Absolutely, but the heat is a factor, and again, if you're saying to some people, we sort of like say, business must be booming for you guys, it's beautiful weather. Well, literally, last week when it was 38 degrees, whatever it was,
boiling.
Everybody stopped. So it's not. It's busy, but people aren't doing anything for that point. Point in time. So
England's not set up to be that warm. So even us, we shut early on that day purely for the yard staff. It was just not safe how hot they were actually getting with physical activity all day. It's similar with the landscapers. A lot of it is physical, and again, it's just got something to consider though, even within your quoting and everything.
Well, that's right. That's just what we're going to say. We're fortunate because that we might shut early, or we might have to close, or we don't sell as much paving that day because it's too hot. But ultimately, we haven't lost a sale, we've just delayed the sale into something else. And
you're looking out for your staff, just the same as if you're a landscaping company is.
But if you're on a fixed price on a job and you're laying and you've sort of like got to get to another job next week, and I can understand why people might carry on because they're going to lose money by it.
But also different areas are different. Like, I know we're going to move on to the cold weather, but a lot of people, especially in cold weather, actually put up the tents.
Yeah, the gazebo type of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
And even if you're just doing things that continues you to be able to work in heat or
extreme
if it's
weather.
If you know what those are and you can protect against them, that's fine. It's just being aware of what it is, and then because you can still do other work as well, can't you? Like generally, you can.
If you've got, you might not be able to lay on a day like today, but you can still do your cuts undercover, like you say. You get your gazebo up, get your water. You know,
you can do your preparation.
You can do your prep and do things like that. But there are technical reasons why you shouldn't.
Does that apply for extreme cold as well?
Absolutely, yes, because the cold under 4 degrees. Again, if you're working with any cementitious product, that hydration process gets delayed. So you have to be sort of prepared that if you can get accelerators for concrete, which accelerate the process.
It's like knowing knowledge.
Yeah. And then you know, if you are doing a concrete in, then you cover it with a hessian to see that the frost doesn't get the surface of it, depending on what you're doing. The same with laying brickwork as such, using a mortar bed in that brickwork. You can't lay at a certain temperature. And
this is why education is so important, because it's not saying don't do it, it's saying prepare yourself to know how you avoid it or get round it.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, again, like I say, I'm from a concrete background. I've been ready-mix concrete where they're laying floor slabs, sort of like thousands of square metres at a time. You know, these seamless floors that they used to do, and we still do. You know, one of the jobs that I had to do was test the ambient temperature. So, because it could be -4 outside, but if you're in this warehouse, it might get up to +4 degrees inside the warehouse. So you test the ambient temperature. You actually test the temperature of the concrete as it's being laid. So, you know, literally walking in, putting a thermometer in, and if that concrete doesn't get to a certain temperature, then it's all like that concrete's not going to perform to how it's supposed to do. So it's a literal no, you can't lay at this point. Which again, sort of like causes issues. You've got X amount of men wanting to lay concrete who won't get paid if they're not going to be doing it. There's a big pressure on that side of things, but ultimately, if that floor fails, then it can't be the supplier's fault as such.
It's going to cost you a lot more to fix that than it is for just, even though I understand the frustration. But.
Indeed, but so and even on landscaping jobs, obviously, going as basic as, can you get your shovel into the ground to dig a foundation out? You can't do that. So freezing temperatures are always.
Would you say it's important to monitor the temperatures going forward as well? So if you were to lay or use a jointing compound on one day and it was to drop below freezing that night, that can have an effect, even if in the day it wasn't.
That's a big mistake, to be quite honest, especially like you say, using cementitious products. Is that it was fine? Yeah, it was 8 degrees. But
so pre-planning ahead of yourself for weather. It's not always just what it is.
It's all right being 8 degrees in the winter in daytime, but if it drops to -4 on a night time, then you know if you laid a concrete slab, the first 24 hours of that are critical. That is when it's getting a little bit sad and boring, but that's when the concrete actually gains the most of its strength within the first 24 hours. And then within the first 7 days, so it goes up, if you had a graph, goes from not strong down here to gaining most of its strength within the first 24 hours. Then 7 days, it's gradually gone up to gaining probably 3/4 of its strength, and concrete's measured in 28 days. So 28 days, it will have gained 90% of its strength, and then thereafter.
It's a
long process. So if you stall it at the 24-hour stage, it will never get up to where it should be, because that chemical process will not happen.
Interesting. And I think it is, so when we say about extreme cold, I think that's probably more important, because you're not really going to have it where it's frosty one night and then it goes up the next day to 40 degrees. Whereas in the winter it can be misleading, because the day can be absolutely fine, but obviously, like we know, evenings can drop.
But again, with the I don't know, certain people within the industry will know that if you've got concrete or a mortar and it's too warm, it can flash there, which means it goes off really quickly, gets hard, but it's not done all of the chemical things that it needs to do inside it. So it's set hard, but it's not gained the strength.
It's not had the reactions.
Yeah, so it hadn't had the time to react and the full body be able to gain the strength that it needs to do on that. So, yeah, heat as well can be doing that. And like I said, not just that, it can affect different fat people. Sweating. Yeah.
Oh gosh, it is absolute. Honestly, this room is absolutely boiling. And that's our impromptu episode on weather.
On weather,
and how weather affects.
Weather affects
Going
mental
for
health.
a break. Goodbye.